Last time the Saints were in the title game, it was an all-timer.
Welcome to the NFC Championship game.
This thing has got all the makings of a shootout.
Adrian up the middle, bumps it out to the left to the 15. Touchdown!
25-20. Touchdown, Pierre Thomas!
Hit this guy. Brett Favre was just creamed.
He pumps, fires over the middle, intercepted. Clearly was destroyed.
Favre's out of the game. Favre is done.
Game's tied at 28.
Favre trying to walk it off.
Back to pass, intercepted. I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
So it comes down to this.
It's good! The Saints are on their way to the Super Bowl!
All right, let's discuss it. Players only presented by Geico. Irv, you have the floor.
Hey, thanks, Rich. And we're talking here today about playing in a championship game. We have players here, players there. We have players everywhere. So we will start with the player there. Reggie Bush, talk to us about this moment playing in a championship game, buddy.
Oh, man, it was special. Just thinking about that 2009 game against the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know if people give enough credit to just how good that Minnesota Vikings team was. We had to get 5 turnovers just to barely beat them. And I just remember the excitement, the feeling, the atmosphere. The fans were loud, playing against Adrian Peterson and Brett Favre and that offense, man, they were lights out. And then I also remember not being able to run the football for us, playing against, their defense, the Williams brothers, Pat Williams, Kevin Williams, Jared Allen on the outside. It was a tough run day. I think I had like 7 carries for 8 yards, and then eventually, got a touchdown in that game, a receiving touchdown. But I think that's the one thing that's important to remember in this game is, especially for players, because everybody wants to be productive, but you can still be effective without having to put up huge stat numbers in games like this.
AD?
Yeah, it was electric. Just being in that stadium and feeling the energy. It was something you only can experience once you're in that moment. And for us, it was just back and forth. Offensively, we dominated. Over 400 yards total offense, and our defense stepped up. And it kept the Saints, and they were explosive. You see the guys they had. Reggie Bush, we was able to slow him down, kept him under, 250 yards total as an offense. But the number one thing that hurt us was turnovers in that game. Yeah. Now, Reggie gave us one, and I know you remember that on the muff punt. It was right before halftime.
I was sick.
Yeah, I know you were, man. So we got the ball out on a 30-yard line, and we drove the ball towards the goal line, and we gave it right back to him. We ran an outside zone play to the left, and me and Favre, we bobbled the exchange and gave the ball back to him. So instead of going in up 7 at halftime, we gave the ball back to him, and I think the momentum shifted then, and it kind of went downhill. Obviously, we had a chance at the end to really we was in field goal position at one point and had a costly penalty because of just how loud the stadium was, and it kind of pushed us back. And we all know about the throw that Favre put out there in the air, but I will accept it because that's what you get with Favre. All year he made those plays, and unfortunately they made the play when it counted.
Well, Irv, you always remind me that you never forget your first, right? And so I'm going to go back to my first championship game. And actually the first pass of that championship game, I threw an interception. We were trying to throw a screen. It gets tipped up in the air. I throw an interception. And we're involved in this defensive battle against that great Tampa defense with Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks and John Lynch and the crew. And we ended up winning that game 11-6. The greatest show on turf scored 11 points to win that game. But just like I said, I won't forget my first pass. I won't forget my last one either. That was it right there to Ricky Prohl. And a great story on that one that we were running a play, and Tampa showed us that they were going to bring 4 weeks. So what that means is we didn't have their safety blocked. We were going to have to run a side adjustment on the outside. We called timeout right before that play was snapped. And so myself and Ricky Prohl, we got together and we talked. We go, okay, if they bring that blitz again, they're probably not going to bring that blitz again. But if they do, instead of running a hitch, I want you to run a go route because we haven't done much on offense and we got to make a big play. Sure enough, we come out of the timeout. They run the 4-week blitz again. Ricky side adjusts to the go route. We hit that play, touchdown, able to win that game and head on into the Super Bowl.
Yeah. You talk about your first, man, and I gotta jump on that same tandem with you. And you never know what to expect on the road. Like you say, you go into a hostile environment, things happen. So you gotta expect the unexpected. So going into our first one in 2001, we're going into Heinz Field against Pittsburgh, and we know we got to play a certain way to beat this team. Tom Brady is the starter. We all know how he became the starter that same season because of the injury to Drew Bledsoe. Well, guess what? Tom Brady got injured in the AFC Championship game. Guess who has to enter the game? Drew Bledsoe. Everybody wanted to know, would he be ready for the moment his opportunity would come? He was a great teacher to Tom Brady the entire time. He came in the game and he played flawless. And as a defense, we didn't sit down on the bench at all the whole entire time he was on because we didn't know how he was going to perform, how he was going to react to the situation. He came in a hostile environment against a really good team, a good defense, and he played lights out. And he got his opportunity, and the most important thing about that is he was prepared. As a leader, as one of the guys we follow, he was prepared for the situation, and he took us to the next level, which actually put us in the Super Bowl. Okay, AD and Reggie, let me give you guys a little TV lesson here. You notice what Kurt and Willie did? They said they're first. They're trying to tell you they played in more than one. Yeah. That's wrong of them. But I remember my first one. That's what I'm going to, too. It's my first one. And we were playing San Francisco in '92. And just nobody expected us to go and play in that game. Nobody certainly expected us to win the game. And all I remember, as a team, we all talked about we're going to do whatever it takes to win this game. We don't care what it takes. We will win this game. And, man, we're down near the goal line, and Norv called a bang 8. And I was like, Coach, we're too close to run a bang 8 because there's no safety room in here. He said, you run it. Just go up big. And right there, I was like, man, Troy said to me, just go up big. I was like, man, why can't somebody else go up big? But I did go up. We made that play on the 1-yard line you just saw. It was a boom. It was a big hit. We ended up winning that football game and going to our first Super Bowl. That's our first Super Bowl and winning it, man. That was some funny stuff. But don't let them guys get y'all with that, man. All that first stuff, man. That's not really what's real. Speaking of X factors and everything that those guys have more than one Super Bowl. Mooch has an X factor. That's coming up next. And Mooch always have interesting X factors.
NFL Game Day highlights. Catch up on all the championship action with the most extensive highlights anywhere.